Hello, welcome to Brian 360 and welcome to my bird feeder. One of my long time, 5 months is a long time for me on this channel, one of my long time viewers, Jennifer, asked me about bird feeder and how to make a squirrel-proof bird feeder. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I've done. Okay, that was probably a pretty awkward transition. Alright, so welcome to my backyard. In my backyard you'll see some trees. We moved to this house about 3 years ago, and with those trees came a lot of birds, and I thought, I'm kind of interested in birds, I like nature, maybe I'll get a bird feeder and see what happens. So I bought a bird feeder and I hung it from one of those branches on the tree. Well, turns out squirrels like bird food as well. So I would come out and there would be squirrels having a feast on my bird feeder, and the birds were nowhere to be found because, well, there was nothing to eat. So I thought, well, I'll get a squirrel-proof bird feeder. So I bought one like this, and it has this neat contraption, so if a squirrel jumps on it, it weighs it down and it blocks off the feeding ports. So I thought, well, that's brilliant, I'll just do it with that and that will solve my problem. Well, it didn't work so well. So what's the next solution? Well, obviously you have to go to YouTube and figure out how to build a squirrel-proof bird feeding structure. So that's what I have right here. And I'll go through some of the parts of that and how I created this thing. So the main thing is this wonderful 12-foot 4x4 that I buried into the ground about 2.5 feet. That's all I could get before I hit clay. My son and I were digging at it the first couple of feet. No problem. And then when you hit clay, it's a problem. So that's the first part. The top is just a 2x4 going across to hang, to put hooks into and hang the feeders. This is probably the main part. The most important part is this aluminum, I think it's a duct or something. I'm not a handyman, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I bought this thing. It's about maybe 3 feet, 3 feet long. Just fasten it with some screws, and it's probably about 3 feet off the ground. Now that is sufficient to prevent squirrels from jumping up, so there's not a problem with squirrels getting into the feeder. Now I have a deck at the back of my house, and I had to build this. It's probably 15 feet or so, 5 meters or so from the house, and that reason was to prevent squirrels from jumping from the deck and landing on the feeder. Now, there was a black squirrel a couple of years ago who somehow got on top of my feeder, and hats off to him, well done, he had a feast, but it's been 2 years since I've seen any squirrels on top of this feeder. So that's the structure I built. Thank you to YouTube and the person who put that video on that inspired this structure. So I'll go through the feeders that I have, what I have in the feeders as well to attract the different types of birds that I get here. I'm in York Region, which is southern Ontario, and right now, obviously, with the snow, it's wintertime. So here are the two multi-seed feeders that I have. So this one here, the caged one, I bought that because come summer in this area, the grackles take over. They even push some of the bluejays out, but it's kind of grackle and bluejay season, and you don't see much other than those birds because they're coming for this feeder, and they're also coming for the sunflower seed feeder. So the poor little chickadees, which I think are probably my favorite bird, they're small, they tough out the winter, they'll land on your hand for sunflower seeds, they're friendly. They would not be seen because the grackles and bluejays, they just force them out in the summer. So that's why I bought that caged feeder. So there would be some food available for the for the chickadees and the sparrows. They can get through the cage and get to the food. So here is that squirrel-proof feeder that I mentioned, which, as I said, is not so squirrel-proof. This is the second one because this feeder, while it is pretty much squirrel-proof, the structure anyway, It is not raccoon proof. Raccoons can easily climb up this, which I found out a few times when I saw feeders on the ground, and it took me a couple instances to realize, alright, it probably wasn't the wind that blew the feeder down during the night. It was a hungry raccoon. And I did have a raccoon destroy that so-called squirrel-proof feeder. So it is not a raccoon-proof feeder. They will take them off and destroy them. So in these two feeders I have mixed seed. There's a bag at Costco that you can get. I think it's $25 or $26 for a 15 kilogram bag. Contains two types of sunflower, so black sunflower and striped sunflower seeds, white and red millet, as well as Niger seed. So that's kind of the multi-purpose seed for most birds, and that will attract bluejays, cardinals, chickadees, red and white breasted nuthatches, even woodpeckers will come to the squirrel-proof feeder. And there's a squirrel hanging out by the fence right now, speaking of squirrels. So those are the types of kind of the two multi-seed or mixed seed feeders. The suet feeder right here, I think I got this one off of Amazon. Actually, I got all my feeders off of Amazon. They also sell them at Canadian Tire, and if there are any Canadians watching this, Canadian Tire is kind of an all-purpose, well, Canadians know. The non-Canadians, it's kind of an all-purpose hardware store. But this feeder here has this area where if woodpeckers come along, and a couple chickadees visiting now, woodpeckers come along, they rest their tails here for leverage, and they'll eat the suet. Other birds eat the suet, blue jays, the grackles especially. If I put this out in the summer, grackles will polish off the suet cake in less than a day. And there's a little chickadee. This feeder here, tray feeder, is great for peanuts. That's where the blue jays and cardinals and other birds. I did see a chickadee grab a peanut fragment today, which is kind of the first time I've seen a chickadee eat a peanut. First time for everything. And then this feeder here is a very popular one with most of the birds, just sunflowers. So on this side, you load it up with sunflowers. This side, you can load it up with Niger seed. I found that the birds were not big fans of the Niger seed. It's mainly for finches, but if it does get a little wet, if it rains, it snows, the Niger seed just kind of clumps and it's a big mess. So I don't have any in there right now. And then at the top here is my 360 camera, the Insta360 camera, and this attachment that I bought last week. So that's what I've been using to capture these up close and personal bird feeder videos. And over here is where I feed the ground feeders. I will put a video of a rabbit surrounded by some birds, and that's where the rabbit was during that video. And then over the fence, that's where I put lots of different seed, the sunflower seed and the mixed seed. I have come to terms with the squirrels. We are, I don't know if we're friends, we tolerate each other. I like the squirrels. Chipmunks are much nicer. They will take peanuts from your hands, but the squirrels and I have come to an agreement. Good for them, because most of the seed that I put out on the ground, obviously, they'll be more than happy to eat. So there it is. Thank you, Jennifer, for asking about this structure that I have, and like I said, it's mostly squirrel-proof. Other than that, well, there's a white-breasted nuthatch having some sunflower seeds along with the chickadee. Don't see a lot of the white-breasted nuthatches, but yeah, a few. So thanks, Jennifer, for asking the question, and here is my feeding structure that keeps the birds happy in summer and winter, especially winter. Thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'll put up some more bird videos for those people who love nature like myself. Thanks again for watching, and take care.